And the party is starting. We are lighting this candle. Andy First Man Smith is with me.
What
Adam
is up,
Post.
Mr.
Adam
Post?
Good to see you, Andy. I'm glad that you'd reached out and you're asking, can we do some First Man action? And absolutely down for the First Man action with Andy Smith.
Thank you. Me too.
Congratulations. You're getting very into the whole Comicsgate thing and making books and doing stuff, which is very, very cool. As you've noticed, I've gotten a haircut. It was recent and still as posty as ever.
It looks good.
Hey, that's what I was going for. Obviously, that's what I was going for. I was just going for one little, hey, it looks good. It looks good. Right. I will take that. Alex, Rogan's Ghost, good to see you, my man.
Well,
I just saw you in Twitter before. And, Andy, you have probably been noticing some people been getting their Mermaids comics.
I have.
It's been kind of cool. Yeah, I saw you were liking and stuff like that. It's such a cool feeling to just see pictures of people getting the books. You're like, oh, you got your book. You got your book. Thank God. Like, thank God everybody got that book. It's like you spend so much time putting these things together, shipping them out, and then people finally get them. And it's like, oh God, thank God they got this freaking book.
Oh, I know. It's it really is good to see. And it's fun too. Just, you just start the process over. I'm like,
next
First Man, volume 1's out there. A year ago, it was just up here and stuff. And now it's out there and, working on volume 2 and stuff. And, everything goes according to plan. A year from now, I'll have a second one sitting next to me. And,
First Man 2 and then First Man 3.
That's right.
Good to see you, Rancid Potato. I don't think that's your real name.
But I doubt it.
Rancid Potato around a little bit. I've seen that.
There you go.
That Rancid Potato type person around. So First Man 1 came out. You promised it. You made it. You shipped it. Bing, bang, boom. Just like that. Just like that. You do it. You say you're going to do it. You do it. You've been live streaming and I called you, right? Because I'm like, I would want someone to tell me this. I called you and I was like, Andy, I noticed you're live streaming like every day. And I was listening to you and you're like, you're good. You get good. It's kind of funny. Like we could actually get good at live streaming.
Oh yeah.
Look, good. Look, some people are freaking amazing at it, but at least to it's kind of interesting to listen to and you have some fun and you're talking to the people in the chat and you're getting chill with it, right? Your channel. Oh, we got to subscribe to Andy's channel too, guys.
Oh yes, please.
Please do that. Is it just under Andy Smith? What's the name of it again?
It should just be under Andy Smith. Yeah. When you go to YouTube and search.
All right. So if you guys
come up that way,
if you could just check out his channel. Obviously it doesn't cost anything. Every sub is a huge help. And I know Andy is looking to beat 600 or whatnot. You're getting very close to that. So if you guys sub to that, it's a huge help to Andy because when he gets to 1,000 and he starts getting monetized, like some magic starts happening there. Once you get past 1,000 subs, it's just like, oh, I got 1,000 subs now, and it's like the potential is unlimited. So you kind of evolve a little bit. I have so much work to do with my YouTube channel too. All right, really, I want to talk more about First Man. I know you've been talking about it with other people. I'm open-minded that way. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Discuss First Man with other people. Not Christine, though.
No.
Not Christine.
She's not allowed
another whole person. I don't know if you guys know who Christine is. She's Andy's assistant. She's very lovely. I've asked Andy a couple times. I put my cell phone number in his live chat a couple times to just try to, make the connection.
That's right.
I think she's interested. By the way she's responded while I've been in your chat room. But if you want to meet Christine and find out more about her, subscribe to Andy Smith's YouTube channel. I'm sure you'll see her soon, one of these days.
She likes to pop in every now and then. So
that's what I heard. Oh, okay.
I gotta keep her working though. So, I crack a whip around here. So it's like organize my books, clean this place up.
I will warn you that at some point in my prior relationship with my son's mom, I got so absurd to the point where I set a place at the dinner table for a jar of duck sauce that I nicknamed Ashley Ann, which she found very disturbing. But hey, I like to be creative. I like to be creative, if I can. And sometimes
I hear you.
Jay Lee says, hey guys, Adam Post, great book. Oh, thanks, Jay Lee. I appreciate that feedback. And guys, you might not think it's a big deal, but when you give us comments on our books, you give us comments on our work, it is a big deal. We
It's
really,
a big
really
deal.
appreciate it.
It is a really big deal, because a lot of times it's just, we're just doing it ourselves in our studio, our little home studio. And I don't know about you, but I know when I'm working on a book, it's even after 30 years of doing this, it's really, I still don't think to myself when I'm working on it, like a lot of people are going to see this,
Yeah, what I've been working on for the last couple of months is going from like a high concept guy, like, oh, here's a cool idea, which could be good. Here's a cool name. College of the Dead is actually a great name for a zombie series. Doesn't matter that I came up with it, just is. But a lot of other things, but to actually turn it into like writing and then to know like, well, is this good? Right. There's no way to know if it's good. It's impossible to. There are aesthetic things, right? When you're looking at your work, like this is dynamic. I can tell you, like just looking at what you have for promo art for First Man 2. Obviously, that's dynamic. Obviously, that's cool. It's really well composed. It's interesting. Everybody should back First Man Book 2. But it is hard to know, like, is it good? Is it going to work? So,
well, it's actually, it's funny. Like when I'm actually doing storytelling pages, interior stuff, it's a little less pressure. It's a little easier because I get into the flow of the storytelling. Hey, what's up, Leg Kick? I get into the flow of the storytelling, and I have a specific way that I like to visually tell stories. And because it's a multiple panel page, it's just easier. It's covers and single images, even splash pages. Sometimes I get a little more in my head, and it can, I get a little more in my head, a little more hesitant and second guessing stuff because it's just that one image, Yeah. And you want to make that one killer image. And, look, the image that we're looking at right now, that's my buddy Bart Sears variant cover.
Oh, that is Bart's. Okay. I was going to say, and I know that you've worked very closely with Bart Sears. Oh, yeah. I actually was going to say that this looks like Bart Sears.
Yeah, no, the second image is mine. But, for a long time I had my image up. But my image, and I've always said this, there's mine. Mine, you need more context because it's storytelling related. Yeah. Like, so I do basically whenever I do something, I'm going to call Bart in to do a variant. And I want Bart to just do something cool and kick ass. Whereas for my covers, I like to do storytelling stuff like, comics. And not that comics these days don't do it, but more comics these days seems to be pinup type stuff.
I want word balloons on covers.
And, I love word balloons.
Bring back the word balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can actually see when you see more of the whole cover, like First Man's getting punched by somebody, and there's these heads floating around, and they're like, hey, we have things going on. Don't you want to know why we're here, us heads?
Exactly.
Get ahead of the curve.
That's right.
But yeah, no, to have a dynamic popping image is
it's about it's about selling the product, and I don't, it's when people will write and say, hey, I backed the book. I got Bart's cover. Like they're apologizing to me because they didn't get mine. And I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Bart's. If I wasn't doing this book and I was looking at this, I'd probably be like, oh, even though I'm friends with that guy, I'm going to get that. I don't care.
Look, this is a thing where like I tell other people this too, because like it's funny because I watched Brian Pulido's launch of his most current Kickstarter.
Oh yeah,
of course he did great. But I was like, oh, I didn't realize he was doing this. He did like a live stream on Facebook that was also on YouTube or something. And he was on with his whole team, and they were showing their office, and he had a digital countdown, and they're like little joking back and forth. I'm like, oh, this feels like Comicsgate, and he's doing it, and there's excitement. They're like, oh, we're gonna launch in 2 seconds, and we really appreciate you guys. And then they launch, and then the numbers start coming in fast, and it's like, oh wow, like this is amazing. Yeah. Like he's like, we're up to 50,000 already, and people are excited. Crazy. And Pulido is like, thank you, John K. Smith. Thank you, Leg Kick 2. Thank you, Jay Lee. All these people that are backing, I'm like, oh, wow, that's so – because like in Kickstarter, as it's coming in, I guess we could do the same with Indiegogo. But as the backers are coming in, he's mentioning names. I'm like, well, that's a really interesting kind of format. And then he's like, and there's just one more thing before we go. And I'm like, before you go, he was on for like an hour. In Comicsgate, when you're doing a big launch, I'm like, when we launched Expendables, Zach's book, which he wasn't even on, that was like a 9-hour night. I mean, it was a late night. But it was so exciting and it was so fun and it was so interesting. Just shocked to see him, leave so quickly. But they're not used to doing they don't do all that live stream. So like their head isn't in all that game. But it's so fun. Look, this is very dynamic. This is very cool. I'm sure Ethan liked this.
Oh yeah.
I really hadn't seen him comment on it or not. So this one's going to be 64 pages. So do you have like a little quickie summary of like what is so obviously this is First Man. He's featured on the cover. Mm-hmm. He's First Man. What does that mean? What is First Man?
First Man's a cosmic based hero that it's this essence. This goes back to volume 1. Volume 1 really explains it all. There are these 10 essences spread throughout the universe, each one inhabiting a different individual on a different planet, and the one on Earth happens to inhabit a college kid named Luke Henry. And, the elevator pit, so people can get a good visual in their head, is you take a little bit of Spider-Man, throw it into a bowl. And when I say that, I'm talking more the Peter Parker-esque humor. You take a little bit of Shazam, where Billy Batson physically changes. You throw that into a bowl. And then you take Captain Marvel from the Jim Starlin cosmic stuff, toss it in, mix it up, pour it out. And that's what First Man is. Luke Henry's an 18-year-old college kid that physically transforms into this character, First Man. It's not a costume that can be taken off. He goes from a 5'10" kid to a 7-foot tall, 270, superhero.
How does he change?
It's just a physical transformation. It's not like Shazam where he has to say anything. He just wills it and he can change.
Oh, so he wills the change.
Yeah, he wills the change.
And did it say kablooey or anything like that?
No. There's no
Would
word
you consider introducing that maybe?
Kablooey? A kablooey could happen. We could see.
I just put it into the editorial team. See what they say.
I could ask my my good pal Steve Dutro, who letters the book, to say, I'd like to see a couple examples of kablooey to see if it would work over the image of him transforming.
I don't think I know him, but otherwise he would know to just completely ignore me.
No, he would. If I actually asked him to do
thing, it just kind of.
If I asked him to do it, he would do that. But
he seems like he would kablooey you.
He would,
if necessary.
So that's it's. Volume 2 takes place on Earth. It's he's only been a hero for about 3 to 4 weeks at this point. So he's back on Earth and he's learning. He's learning how to juggle being a college student.
All right, sorry to have to interrupt to ask you this, but I'm fascinated. So how does he get his power? How does he get the
Well, that's just power? It. He gained this essence. I don't want to give too much away from
not to like the secrets, but he's got the power.
Right. He gained this essence. He was one of the 10 that was chosen to inhabit this essence, and this essence gives him the power. That's where the whole cosmic aspect comes in, because it was this back in the beginning, you could say there was this just big ball of this energy and power, and I'm trying to think of a good word for it. I guess like the overseer of the creation thought, instead of holding all this power in one space, it would be better if it was broken up into 10 and shot across the universe.
Okay.
To inhabit 10 different people or 10 different individuals, because not all planets are people. And then going with the first book, Monarch, who's the bad guy from the first book, he wanted to collect all 10, because if he could collect all 10 into himself, he would become, the most ultimate powerful, omnipotent, I guess there is. So that's the basic story of the first one, is Monarch tracking down this last essence and trying to get it. And then after what happens in that one, without giving it away, Luke comes back to Earth. I mean, if you read the breakdown, obviously he defeats Monarch, but I'm not going to go into how.
Sure, sure.
He comes back to Earth and he needs to learn how to be a hero, learn how to juggle that with college life. And, he lives at home with his mom and dad, who are the only two people that know about his secret. And this place, he starts as he's around New York, because he goes to NYU. So as he's around New York and he's trying to, be a hero, this place called the Fourth World Foundation basically catches wind of him through sightings and things like that. And they're like, we might be able to use this guy. So they reach out to contact him because they created a being known as Adonis. And
Adonis is
what's that?
God. Adonis is like a Greek god, like a macho guy.
Yeah. It's they basically try to create this
basically like
being
either of us. You basically
exactly
like a basic
Greek god,
a basic Andy Adam type. Maybe
exactly.
RT Bear,
right?
RT Bear.
Totally
less muscles than Art, but RT
right.
Bear.
Well,
you mean
more like
RT Bear.
Yeah, more like Graham.
Adam Brandon. Oh, yeah, Graham is impressive. Graham is very impressive. Yeah. Graham is actually, he's in great shape.
So they create this being. So it's an AI, of course. It's not obviously human what they create, and they want to try and recruit First Man, but their intentions probably aren't, altruistic in the right places. But Luke Henry at first doesn't obviously realize this, and it's not like they're giving up the goose on what they really want him for. So the ultimate villain in the book is not just Adonis, but this Fourth World Foundation, those four characters. And then, he has to he's 18 years old, so there's a point in the story where his dad has to kind of lift him up and pep him up and give him kind of like a pep talk. I kind of relate it to, just because his dad was never a superhero, obviously, doesn't mean he can't impart good advice.
Yeah, it's a different. He's not speaking from experience of being a superhero,
right. But he's speaking about, look, when you get knocked down, you got to get back up. That's relatable. There's the old, if you fall off a horse, you got to get right back on it.
Yeah,
and there's moments like that where Luke has to have, basically a talk with his dad and confide in him and try and get some advice. And his dad, being a good dad, sees that, he needs to kind of help guide his son, even though he's never been a hero with powers like this.
I want to see First Man 6 when his dad gets powers. Anything's possible in superhero comics.
Anything is possible.
Where did you get this crazy idea to do a cool parody ad that's just incredibly awesome?
Just from the fact that I loved him when I was growing up as a kid, seeing Spider-Man have to confront Doc Ock and just throw Twinkies at him, and that saved the day.
It's like, you haven't really calculated for my cakes and my other treats. You didn't think I'd have these Hostess pies here, did you? No.
So I loved them.
What does that have to do with anything?
And I got in the business. I got in the business too late to actually draw these things because they were done by the time I got in the business.
Yeah, this was like a 70s thing, right?
And 80s.
Okay.
They probably died out mid to late 80s.
But
they were definitely, I'm almost sure they were 100% gone when I got in 91.
By 91, they
were gone.
By the time you had the Punisher, when Mike Barron's doing the Punisher in the 80s or whatever, things were dark.
Yeah, they were gone.
Much more dark.
Yeah, so they were probably phased out by 85.
Like Secret Wars, like there's no Secret Wars Hostess fruit pies and things like that.
But it's my book, and I
love it.
I like doing extra stuff like that in the book.
Yeah, this is really polished too. I mean, I'm looking at it, and I can just kind of tell like you've definitely spent a lot of time on this.
I wanted to give it the feel of a 1970s, 80s book with the newsprint, the flat color, even the drawing style. I changed up my drawing style to try and be more retro in regards to John Buscema and Joe Sinnott, because those are the guys I really
I'm an old
adored.
Man. I like that. To me, I like that style a lot. You know, I love the dynamic stuff too, but I really like that. Oh, hey, Trevor's here. Trevor Nelson.
Trevor, he got his
says, hey, I got my fish books. They are beautiful. Making of. Pretty damn cool too. Yeah, Trevor, I really wanted you to see the making of book. I was curious to see that you got it. And the making of book for the Mermaids is just like, to me, I don't know. See, like you're making the comics, you're promoting the comics, you're drawing, you're doing everything. Right. I don't have the skills to do everything. I'm learning to write because I got a gauntlet challenge of like, come on, Adam, you can write your own thing, do your own thing. Don't hire a writer. So I've been writing, but it's very, very difficult for me. But I think I have something. I think I have a fucking killer project. I'm looking.
No, that's cool.
Sharing more about it. But I love the process of making this stuff.
Yeah, so do I.
It's so cool. Like you get the layouts in, then like you get lettering back, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, you know, since I obviously do the penciling and inking, I see all that from obviously blank page to finish. I co-plot, you know, so I talk to my buddy, Rob Snyder. We talk it out over the phone, and
nice.
I kind of hit him with bullet points. And it is still just kind of like Christmas when he sends me an email and says, you know, I just shared the Google Doc with the first like 10 pages or whatever. And I open it up and I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool seeing, you know, his full script and the panel breakdowns.
It is cool,
and just going, oh, he got that in there and he got that in there and seeing how he flushes it out.
And also because, look, anything that's involved, it's sort of like other CG guys were like, come on, Adam, there's no reason you can't just write something yourself. And I'm like, you guys trust me to write something really good? Because like I can write something that I really am interested in. I can make it cool. I know how to plan a 2-page spread, you know, and artists have good ideas too, but I don't want it to just be like rambling ideas. You know, I want it to be something where the only way I know it's good is if I hire a professional to do it. But we like you have a co-plotter. We can work with someone else who can edit us a little bit and make sure that like, okay, you have to have like, even with like you guys say with art, right? You've got to have your fundamentals down. You got to know your anatomy and then become Picasso. Like just because you don't know anatomy and you're creative, it does not mean that you're Picasso yet. Right. You can't just be like wildly abstract all the time. Like, you know, Alan Moore does this, Frank Miller does that. It's like, yes, the geniuses of but if you look at people's early work, you look at like Frank Miller's early work, it's pretty traditional. Yeah. And very structured. Oh, yeah. Strong characters. And obviously structured within a single issue, but structured with you look back, you can see like a couple of years. You know, I don't think like when he killed Elektra, for example, with me, it always comes back to Daredevil and Elektra. But when he killed Elektra, spoiler alert from 30 years ago, when he killed Elektra, I don't think he planned to bring her back. I think, you know, some things change as you go. You don't get the feeling, you know, but still it's like, but the main storylines and the character evolution and development, like that's been really thought out extensively. But when writers throw down, when you as an artist throw down, with me as a business guy, when I throw down, we have skill sets that we've developed over, you know, could be 10, 20, 30 years. And in our little niche, we're killers. We're actually really, really good. But just because you're good at one thing, you know, not necessarily going to be good at something else. Right. You know, and like with Comicsgate too, I look at it and I'm like, well, it's really going to take me a year to put out a book. And like, I can't do any other books for a year. I've never had that limitation on me. When I'm regularly publishing, the least number of books I do in a year is like normally 30 or 40 books or something, like some absurd number, and good ones and some low budget ones. But it's an amazing discipline. But I love a touch like this about this page. It just shows, you know, how much heart you have and how much heart you have for the project. So this is really like young, cool superhero guy. And he's just superheroing around, doing his thing. He's got power. I mean, other people try to steal it from him, I assume. No?
Yeah, kind of.
I'm giving away plot that doesn't exist.
No, not really. I mean, kind of. That's kind of the gist.
I don't know. I read Starbrand not long ago. Somebody was trying to steal his power.
I haven't read that in forever.
Yeah.
God, I haven't. Man, wow. Yeah, that's been a long.
It's actually
time.
very well. It's very well structured. Jim is very well structured. Yeah. So I was looking at it for reference for structure.
Oh, I bought it just because of John Romita Jr.'s art. So.
Oh my God, John Romita Jr. is so freaking good.
That was like the only reason I think I bought it. I barely remember.
Oh my
the story,
God,
so.
John Romita Jr. is so freaking good, so talented.
Yeah, no, he's one of the best.
A lot of those guys in the '80s, like they're so, some of it's really simplistic, but just so disciplined and so confident. I have to start branding in the other room, marked up in like notes and things like that for writing.
Oh, that's cool. Is there a trade paperback? There's got to be a trade. Didn't they re-release it?
I don't know if they did it. I don't know if they did a trade, but as a back issue, like who's really the best is Buddy Saunders' operation, mycomicshop.com.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. They're so cool. It's just like $1 for this and like,
right.
All right, $2 for that. Cause like, it's like, and they're just great guys. And they, they're really, really cool. They support indies too. There's a whole, I could go on about them forever. They actually have they have their own auction site, kind of like eBay, but they have their own comic base. And they'll like take stuff on consignment. Like you got a whole world going on over there.
Oh, that's cool. I've bought some stuff from them. So
I was actually thinking of partnering with them for us for fulfillment. Because for one thing, they have so many comic customers already. They ship internationally really well. They have a huge facility, and even though we're not like Comicsgate and crowdfunding is not comic stores, there's a big crossover audience. Sure. So there's got to be a way we could help each other. But I can't really speak for everybody. That's not me. My level is let's see your cool new project, Adam. And soon it'll come to pass. I'm talking to an artist now. Vile Ned, smiles to you, Vile Ned. As always, as you guys have, everyone in CG has seen me say, thanks, Vile Ned, because Vile Ned's always doing something cool. Always thanking Vile Ned.
There you go.
I like, I didn't know Adam was doing videos again. Good to see. Yes, I can't read well, but yes, I am doing videos again. Andy was like, hey, do you want to do a promo? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to do a stream. Hey, Corey, what's up,
Corey Barton. What's up?
Super artist.
Yeah.
Good. He's the good brother. There's him and Clayton.
Oh, come on now.
Nah, I had to take Clayton off the list. And I'll tell you why. For talking to Australian.
Talking to
Australian. He did it once. He did it twice. I talked to him about it. I told him never again. And again, he was Australian. So that was the end. No, I love that guy.
I know.
He's howtodrawcomics.net. He's got his whole other audience there. He's got his whole other thing. So yeah, I'm gonna do a lot more streaming. And I was glad that you asked because I hadn't done it in a while. I've been I'm not trying to complain or anything, but it's like getting in shape, right? Writing it. If you haven't done a skill set and now you're like, you have to do it and there's pressure that it can't be like, it's got to actually be good.
Yeah.
So I have talked to a couple guys and been like, what do you think of this name for this character? What do you think of this idea? I'm like, well, I don't really like this, but how about that? And they'll be like, oh, I like this or like that. Or actually that sounds really, really cool. Like, really? You think so? Like, yeah. Like, all right, well, good. Now I have to go do this. Yeah, but it's exciting and it's fun. But I'm sorry. I did just want to make one point. My one point was this. I have self-indulged myself in creating comics and publishing before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dangerous game because, for me, because I could start chasing something and all of a sudden I'm not paying enough attention to like, how much money are you spending on all this? And like, how much promotion do you have to do? And also how much of this is for you and what you like and how much of this is really commercial. Like it's really good. Not just like, Adam has this crazy idea and he indulges it. So it's a balance. It's a balance, but having a few friends in CG honestly is helpful because, I haven't even been bothering you yet. I plan to do that and bounce stuff off you too.
Sure.
Just, it's like, we do this together. We kind of collaborate. I'm cautious, but actually I do think I have something that's really strong and we'll see very soon. It's going to be cool. All right. This is the learning curve. So this is First Man's learning curve.
Yes, it is. It's Luke, like you said, it's Luke Henry. He's got to he's back on Earth after the events of Volume 1, and he's got to learn how to adjust to having powers, how to be a hero, grow into it, and he's a freshman in college, living at home with his mom and dad, and the next thing he knows, he's being sought after by this group of scientists that say they need his help. So he's eager to please. He's like, yeah, let's do it. What can I do for you guys?
Uh-oh.
And, the cover kind of tells you that it's not all that it seems.
That happened to me in college, and I wound up in the back of a van.
Exactly. You just never know what can happen.
I'll tell the rest of the story next time we stream on the Andy and Art show. Yep.
You were experimenting. I get it.
Yeah, hey,
it's college.
Well, the scientists said that they needed help.
That's right.
They're like, hey, and then they open it slowly.
They needed help. They gave me a cup and said,
"We have candy." The windows
right.
were blacked out, so I should have known something.
That's right. And then you realize, wait a second, why is Bill Cosby in the back of this van?
Listen, I was like, I have blacked out window van, so these guys must be nice like me.
Right.
That's what I thought that.
I mean, the soundproofing was a little weird on the inner walls of the van, but you just figure they like to jam the music and they don't want to. Right. They don't want to be those guys at the red light that pull up next to you and you're like, oh my God, I can feel the bass.
My screams matter. No, that I'm actually making that part up. But as far as not trusting scientists that are like, hey, we just need a little help from you. Like, Luke Henry has enough to do without taking on work from scientists. Doesn't he?
He does, but
he's a son, and even though he's in college, he has responsibilities to the family. He's a son.
He's a single child, only child is what I meant to say.
How is he around girls? Are they impressed? Do they know?
He doesn't tell people his secret. So he does meet a. Well, he has a friend, I should say, in college that is a girl.
Okay.
Her name's Sadie, if I recall correctly.
He should just sleep with her already.
Oh, okay. He's a good boy.
Yeah, but girls like that stuff.
I know.
If they're interested. Trevor Nielsen says, and this could be scary. I don't screen these. I just read them. I should have said that.
No, of course.
But Adam, that's how horror films start. Oh, but getting into the van. It's also how porno films start. Yes, I was in a few horror porno films. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I was making money in college.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Actually, by that time, I was out of college, and that was when I was making comics, and some of them were screwy comics.
Well, the reason it was a horror porno film when I do it is not necessarily because there's slasher stuff. It's as soon as I take my clothes off, it becomes horrific.
Andy, this is really funny because
it's a porno.
See, this is where I get too involved. I was gonna talk to you offline to see if we could arrange me calling Christine or Christine calling in or whatever on my cell, and then to have a conversation with Christine while you were on.
Oh, sure.
That could have actually been arranged, although it would have been very involved. And but see, this is what I'm saying. Like, is that a great idea? That is a great idea. There's no question. It's brilliant.
It's totally
however, there's a lot that goes into that. So sometimes you have to, weigh, like, can we really put the resources into this? Is that the right thing to do? Violet says, Andy Smith's First Man 2, Learning Curve. And you can also get First Man 1 when you get First Man 2.
Yes, you can. There's a tier for both. So if you miss First Man Volume 1, you can grab that one and grab Volume 2 and be nice and happy. And then if you want to get the program book, which is the supplemental 40-page book, you can get that as well. Get all three.
So what is the program book?
It's a supplemental 40-page book. It's kind of like the making of First Man with character sketches, page layouts.
I love it. Character designs, page layouts.
Yeah, couple unused pages are in there that I did, and I was like, nope, not going to use these. And then there's also it's 40 pages, so the first 15 or 16 pages of the book are different artists I know, their take on First Man that I've had done over the years. So, like,
are these artists who we don't really talk about, but they're actually incredible, like big names like Adam Hughes?
Yeah.
I remember this from earlier.
There's a few examples. Adam Hughes, Brian Hitch, Bart did a different one, Alan Davis, George Perez. And those are just a few. There's like 15. I think there's 15 or 16 different ones in there.
Now, those were not part of the. Is that part of the first book, or this is?
Well, no, the program book was also available in the first campaign, but since that's taken down now or closed, if you didn't get it, you can get it now, just like the
really making up First Man. Yeah, I'll tell you, I think people really do like the making of books. The Mermaids was a small campaign for me. I mean, it was like it was almost like a Kickstarter style campaign. I really didn't think about it that much at the time when I was first working on it. I've had a lot of the book. The book was almost completely done when it was launched, except for doing all the layouts again. Thank you again, Chris. You know Renke.
Oh, I know Renke. Oh yeah, Renkebot's awesome.
Great guy. But it was almost done. But I'm like, all right, the making of part. We did pretty good with the making of books, in terms of, and we sold less than 100, I guess, which is not a million books, but I mean, it's a $25 book plus whatever, postage, whatever.
Sure.
But what's interesting is I like making the book so much, and I really like the process so much that being able to show people the layouts, even just for like a given issue, because I did it for College Dead Book 1, I did it for College Dead Book 2, with the full script. People are interested in seeing the composition of, okay, how are you describing a comic script? I was talking with one of the other CG guys who's was relatively new, and he's working on his first project, and he'd never seen a comic script before. He's a good writer, like he has writing background. Actually, had it printed. Yeah, I was like, well, let me send you the College of the Dead making of book, just to kind of get an idea of like the pacing and the thinking that goes behind like laying out the books and stuff. It's just another fascinating thing about making these books. Oh yeah, it's where too, like when I work with a writer who's a pro, like guys done a lot of professional work before, and they chop it up like that, they lay it out, and it's just so beautifully thought through, and all of these like supporting characters that interact with each other and relate to a larger theme. And I'm like, it's just beautifully done work. Then I know that like I sit down to try to do something like that. I'm like, well, I don't know. How do you have a good villain? And like, all right, I know there's answers to that question, but do you struggle with the writing part of this a little bit? I mean, you have someone you plot with, but I
mean, not as much, because I just do more of the broad brushstrokes, and then bounce that off of my buddy. And if he has something he thinks is better, he'll tell me. Or like I said, it's really more of just when I say a phone call, it's like a 2-3 hour phone call.
Yeah.
And going over stuff. And it's funny because I do tell him, I go, I hope you're actually taking notes so you don't forget this stuff as I'm blathering on. And he does, because like I said,
you're not going to remember it. Like it's
well, I remember it, but I just
Oh, really?
That's I can remember most of the plot stuff I told him. And then, I've got the whole script obviously now from him. And, he added things, because that's the thing. I don't, I just do the broad brushstrokes, and he's got to expand it.
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like when we started on College of the Dead, I gave Stefan the name of the book, the vibe of what I wanted, the main antagonist, and he created a daughter for her and developed the relationship between those two characters, like just really so beautifully, and had this other backstory, and like wow, this is just great to see this stuff come together. That's why I'm such a big fan of collaborating, especially if I get to be. That's why like I'm a little self-deprecating, but I can also be a jerk, I guess, from time to time. But in the creative process, like I'll say that I do nothing. There's not a damn thing I ever worked on that I did like truly nothing on. Even when we did,
of course,
1,000 comics, like it would be me with coming up with a name for something and the gist for it. But that's really more editor, but different levels on different levels. But I have so much respect for people that are pros and do a job. Thanks, Splat Guts, for saying that you liked me disseminating news stories. I will give you more work on that. I've been like, I have a strategy for how to get out. I got to do at least a video a day, 2 videos. I should be able to do 2 videos a day. But let me get to 1 a day first. I'll get back in that game.
That's right.
Good to see you, Randy Cyplin.
Hello,
Good
Randy.
to see you. Hail to you as well. Many, many hails back at you, my man. Andy, it's never a question of what are we going to sit here and talk about. We'll never have something to talk about. How could we fill like 2 hours or 3? We can always fill the time. It's always.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about it.
It's always interesting. Who the hell are these? Can you tell me just quickly who the hell are these floating head people? Who is this guy? He looks like he's not nice.
Which one are you? I can't see your mouse.
Sorry, this guy with
Oh, him
on the elbow.
They're the members of the Fourth World Foundation. They make up the group of scientists. He's one of the leads, and then down below, I believe her name is Claire. I will say even on my own stuff, I'm bad with names. That's one of the jokes Dennis and I have is
that's funny.
We can walk out of a movie and I'll be like, hey, you remember when, and I always refer to the actor because I'll just walk out of a movie and totally forget the guy's name in the movie. And he'd be like, you remember when Hugh Jackman did blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you mean so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. Didn't he play like, he was in Tesla or something? He was like a magician in some really cool movie.
That was a good movie. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of the movie because it came out at the same. Well, no, that movie. It was so funny. That movie came out around the same time as another movie came out that had some theme of a magician. He's making fun of my. Okay, so Ethan had me. If you play my video up top.
I watched a little of Comicsgate Kings last night. I'm like, oh my god, the energy is so fun. That's why I'm like, I'm so looking. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm like, oh wow, the energy is great.
It's funny. So the
Prestige, that's it. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Dale. Thanks, Alex.
But there's another movie I thought that came out that I think had Christian Bale in it. That was a different movie that was magic related. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. But point is, so this was a few weeks back. Ethan played my trailer, and there's no voiceover in the trailer that I had done for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I want to play.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna play it, and just give me a nice off the cuff,
rap
voiceover. So I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I ran through it, and the first time I did it, I ran a little bit longer than the trailer itself because I wasn't expecting it. So he's like, let's do it again, but try and nail it right then. I'm like, okay. So I did it again. So lo and behold, like a week later on his show, he pops it up, and a mutual friend of ours recut it, this trailer down to 30 seconds. So he cut it in half with my voiceover. And there is a part where I go, it was The Illusionist, Ed Norton. See, The Prestige was a movie about magic stuff. And then The Illusionist. They came out around the same time. I knew
Beautiful.
it.
Thank
See,
you.
I got a memory for stuff, just not the actual names.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, there's a line in the trailer where I go, and look at these 4 people. And,
okay.
And it has become like this thing where whenever it's played, people comment, look at these 4 people.
Oh, I want to see
now,
that.
I will say, I've got both videos up. This first one is the minute-long one because I really love what the guy did. It's the guy that Graham used for his Alien Alamo and Chenoo. And then Aaron Lepresti actually used them for his trailer as well. So then this trailer is the shorter one, but little secret, since I'm mutual friends with the guy that recut it, and I didn't know this at the time Ethan did it. He just mentioned who he sent it to, and I was like, oh, I know that guy. So we were talking, and I actually said, I don't know how hard it would be, but could you take out that line and look at these 4 people? Because it really just, when I hear it, I understand it's funny. I get it.
Yeah.
But when I hear it in context of everything, it just seems, it's one of those things like when a person's editing a movie and you watch it on DVD and you watch a deleted scene and you go, why was that deleted? That's great. The director just knows it shouldn't be there. It stops the flow. And it is.
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
But these are different. But look, it's taking me a while to understand actually what is supposed to be going on when we're on YouTube and we're making comics and we're involved in this social group of Comicsgate. And like, well, what's I think that when you were first started getting involved with Comicsgate a little bit,
sure.
I reached out and I gave you as much 411 as I could, because I know what it's like, where it's just like, I'm lost. Like these guys are all incredibly cool and I'd love to be doing what they're doing, but I don't get it. Like I don't
Right.
I don't know who War Campaign. Like I don't know what all of this is.
Yeah.
It's entertaining as all hell. And everyone was just so generous and cool with me. And that's one of the first things I could not stop saying when I first got involved with Comicsgate. But just from like the lowest, newest guy level, and people with really small channels, and then medium, and everybody was just so cool. But it is like it's a bit of a maze to kind of get through. But yeah, I mean it's funny, Andy, because it's sort of like like in Wall Street they cut your tie with scissors or something. Have you heard of that? You know what meme I'm talking about?
Wait,
like
which one is it?
If you go into Wall Street, this is like all right, hard to explain, but it's sort of a rite of passage. Let's put it that way. Where there's something crazy or funny about you that everybody refers to and talks about, and usually it's a little bit embarrassing. So if you were going to be a stock trader on Wall Street, they would cut your tie with scissors, like after maybe you made your first big sale. And part of that with Comicsgate is like they find something, because people fucking love each other. They're just like, let me find something that's funny about Adipose. Let's make fun of his eyebrows or whatever it is. So there's usually some kind of embarrassment or something like that. Just something that's silly. And then there's, you look at like Shane is amazing, and that and Frega, like guys who, and they just kind of like they're, just out doing their thing, and they're really super entertaining. And of course, Ethan just keeps getting more entertaining as time goes on. But he's in like hyper evolution of being entertaining. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's all a compliment. If it was something that you would show on a platform outside of Comicsgate, it doesn't belong there. But in context of if this is for the Comicsgate audience, it's a huge boost to have something odd and jarring. But who knows this? But also, it comes down to your project, and you want to be comfortable.
Well, and it's just one of those things where if somebody's seen it, like a lot of the people here have seen it, so they automatically know. Look at those 4 people, which is great. I think like I said,
sells books. It totally sells books.
It cracked me up too. They all know it, but then at the same time, I look at the other side of the coin, which is somebody first coming to the campaign and playing it, the version here where it's not there. They wouldn't have that thought of,
but the thing of it is
that's not there because they never saw it in the first place.
Look, it's true. It's true. I'm going to put these as a reward next time.
I know.
I wish I had Adam Post eyebrows. I would cut them for the wigs for kids charity. Absolutely. I could paste
those suckers on the side of my head, and I'd have the horseshoe because they would touch all the way around.
I've been on live streams with Malin and me talking about my eyebrows, and that is always a funny thing to do. Alex Rogan says unique helps make the trailer memorable. I'm glad that line is in there. So is that in the short version?
It's not in this one, no. I can tell you where it goes. I can say it when it should be.
Okay. All right. What could be better than that? But is this a 30-second cut? Like, which one are we going to play?
That one is.
Do you want to play? Which one do you want? I mean, basically, we're doing this for ourselves. We're having fun, and for people are going to enjoy it when they see it.
You can play whichever one you want. I don't care.
All right, I'm on the 30-second one. Let's play.
I just put them both up for the hell of it.
Luke Henry, after kicking Monarch's ass to the depths of space, is back on Earth, and now he's looking to save the world from the Fourth World Foundation. Sure, he had help from Penumbra before, but she's not helping him this time. He's got to face it on his own. He's coming for a villain known as Adonis.
He was right there. Look at these 4 people.
You'll be there. That's a first man too.
It was right before, and I gotta tell you, the guy did a fantastic job because so it said he's coming for the villain known as Adonis, and right before that, before you see the silhouette with the question marks, I didn't want to give away what he looks like. It says these 4 people. He's coming for the villain known as Adonis.
No, Andy, that's funny.
But it's funny because the guy, like I said, when I originally did it, I talked for a whole Ethan was like, let's have you do, give me the improv voiceover over the trailer. And the trailer was a minute long. So I blathered on for a full minute. Mm-hmm. And then he sent it to the guy. And obviously the guy made my voice sound better with whatever echo or type of stuff he did. But then he cut out stuff because I talked for a minute and he cut out non-essential stuff and just got it down to like that 30-second thing. So
that guy's great.
He's real good.
Watch this long one.
Oh, it's good. See, when I do this one, since there's no voiceover on my channel, I always dance to it. People, because there's just no voiceover. Yeah, this is the one that Graham's guy did, and I got to be honest, man, I didn't know what to expect because I've never paid somebody to do a video before, and I was blown away what he did with Graham's. So obviously, I said, keep it to a little under a minute. And I just sent him, I didn't know what to send him. I said, I guess I'll just send you some images. And he said, yeah, send me images and just send me a little paragraph of what it's about. And I'll just shoot you something and we'll go from there. And
this is like what we were talking about before, when you work with a pro and they understand you're going for something cool. It's like, well, yeah, but they're pros. This is the guy probably does like 3 videos a day. Because he's just a super
he just
pro.
knows what he's doing. Yeah. Whereas that would have taken me. There were things in that video I wouldn't even know how to do. Like the logo. I had no idea how to do that to the logo.
So cool.
So he hooked that up. It's like we were talking earlier when you get stuff back. My buddy Steve Dutro that does the lettering. I pride myself when I lay out pages to compose the panels where I know word balloons will go. And even if, I try to compose panels to where if there's no word balloon in it, the composition works. And then once a word balloon is put in it, it just enhances the composition of the panel.
Sure.
And Steve's been doing it for so long. We went to art school together. He's been lettering comics for 30 years, just like I've been drawing him for that long. And he sends me the stuff back and I'm just like, man, it's like he was inside my head with just how he connected balloons and where he put stuff. And then the colorist I'm working with, a girl named Ilaria Fella is from Italy. And she's just, she's just hitting a home run on the stuff. So
yeah, it's coming out really clean. Guys, definitely check out this campaign. If this isn't a campaign that you guys can back right now, fix your damn priorities. No, if you can't back it right now, sharing it is huge help. That's why when I see it, I try to share it.
Yep.
And he backed me up big time on the Mermaids. I appreciate that, Andy. We all support each other here. And, Andy and the next time there's something absurd about your campaign, you might want to keep it in there. For example.
Well, I still have the other video, I believe.
For example, what about adding a tier? I think some people would back this. Buy a drink with Christine.
I thought about adding a tier because
Billy has his wife,
because Graham has it, and then I'd have to ask her nicely if she would let me take a photo of her for that image right there with the beer. It says buy a drink for Christine. Yeah, and I know Graham goes the $10 route for the drink. I could see probably just going 5 with Christine.
No,
lowbrow.
At least 10 with Christine.
At least
buy
10.
A drink.
Okay.
This is what I would do. Buy a drink with Christine, asterisk, and then for the explanation of the asterisk in the description, and then let's see what happens, ... Right? Because you never know. You can't you
just don't know.
Drink.
I will have to
what
do
happens
that
after the drink. But you're open for negotiation.
I'm open, or she's open. She's very
not.
Accommodating that way, and I can say that 'cause she's not here right now. She's off the clock.
Right, she's off the clock, so to speak.
Right, she's home somewhere. She's in a van down by the river. So,
DL, really glad to hear you got the Mermaids. Thank you for letting me know. All right, guys, let's be support this campaign. Let's encourage Andy because he's doing great work. The stuff is great. One thing I'm really personally attracted to this. I love it. I do love Bart's.
Oh yeah.
Cover, right? I mean, but also I like the. I mean, this is basically you're going like to the coolest time in comics, like the early '80s.
Yep.
You've got this dynamic cover from Bart. That's very, very cool. I guess that.
Yep.
And then you've got the fruit pies ad. So I mean, come on, what more can people ask for?
Well, and I had to continue it because there was a fruit pies ad in the first one, so I had to do a second one, and same thing with the writing to it. My buddy Rob wrote it, and for the first one, I didn't really give him like a plot because it's one page or a story idea. I just said, for the first one, I want, obviously the trio of First Man, Monarch, and Penumbra. And then for the second one, this one, I said, let's do something different. Let's make it more grounded on Earth and whatnot. And he nailed it. These four people.
Violet knows what's up. These four people. Yeah, you do wonder who those four people are. So it's funny how it's iconic like that. All right, let's give it a wrap. Andy, anything else we need to know? Guys, subscribe to Andy's channel. It's very
please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do a daily show every morning around 8:30. Tomorrow's going to be 7:30 for an hour. It's always about an hour. Tomorrow's an hour early because I have to take my kid to work. She starts at 9, so
nice.
I got to be done by 8:30.
Like Adam's Aunt Shirley. I did have an Aunt Shirley. I don't think she's around anymore. I haven't talked to her in a while. Also, my Uncle Arnie, though, he is still alive, but just barely according to my brother. But he's had a long, long life. Don't worry about Uncle Arnie. Subscribe to my channel. Click the bell for notifications. I will be doing more videos. I will be doing more live streams. They cannot get rid of me that easily. I am working on my new book, which I promised would be a hit and a killer book. It will be a killer book in more than one way. I am talking... I've reached out to the artist that I really would like to try to work on with. We'll see if we can connect. If not, I will have another artist where I can work with to do something else amazing. So lots more coming from me as well. And thanks, guys, for the support. There are still some Mermaids books. If you want to check out epicmermaids.com. But go ahead and definitely take a look. Also in the description, there's a link to Andy's book, First Man. And Andy, it's really been great
thank you.
To talk to you, man. It's a lot of fun. Congratulations on the huge success. And this book, this is bigger than the previous book, right? That's the game.
That's right.
Bigger and better, brother. Bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
All right, guys. Have a great night. We will see you soon. And as I always say, if we don't see you, I will miss you. Have a great night, guys.
Bye.